on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for a special video. We are reviewing and recapping the interview that Dominique did with Crystal XO on From Ready to Love. Ready to Love, y'all. So we are here for a special. I didn't have no car talk video this week. I'm just behind, y'all. I got a lot going on. But I am going to catch up on all my interviews because I did see that Kojo also did an interview with Will. So I need to watch that first, and then I'm going to recap that as well. We got a lot of stuff this week. We got Married at First Sight still coming on. We got the reunion coming up for Love is Blind. So hopefully I'll be able to get everything out. Bear with me. But before we get going on this recap review of Dominique, let's play our theme music. We're moving on now to the side, to the deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on to the side. There you go, y'all. There you go. That's going to be a Dominique's new theme music. Moving on up. Because according to Dominique, we've coming from the hood to the high rise. From the hood to the high rise. He said that he is from the hood in Nashville. Be honest with y'all, I didn't even know that Nashville had a hood. I really didn't. I never been in Nashville. I've been a lot of places, but Nashville ain't one of them. I remember Married at First Sight was in Nashville. Maybe we ought to hook Dominique up with some of them people in Nashville from Married at First Sight because none of their marriages worked. None of them. Maybe we can hook him up with Kirsten. Where's Kirsten? She good looking, Dominique. You might want to call her up. Kirsten, call her up right away. We think Jasmine over there in Nashville. I think she got a man, but I don't know. Jasmine's good looking too. Jasmine is beautiful. She's a beauty queen. So maybe you got to go on back to Nashville and find these ladies because it obviously didn't work out on Ready to Love. And the other reason I'm going to call him Moving On Up because he cussed like George Jefferson. Any of y'all remember George Jefferson? George Jefferson back then in the day was called a cursing on TV. But let me tell you something. Dominique, let me take that back. Dominique don't curse. He cusses. There is a difference. There is a difference between a cursing and cussing. And Dominique, he cusses. He absolutely cusses a lot. I actually see now why he and Vanessa didn't work out. He tried to say that he and Vanessa had a lot of things in common because they're both hippies. This is what he told us. I guess he figures he calls himself a hippie because he said that he typically goes out of the country once or twice a month. Don't tell us you a passport bro, Dominique. Dominique, don't tell us you a passport bro. He said his favorite city is Mexico City. He said he has lived in Playa del Carmen before. And he like going down there, y'all. He like going down there to Mexico once or twice a month. And I don't know. I hope he ain't no passport, bro. Maybe he goes down there for his art because he did say that he curates his own art shows internationally. So let's just say he goes down there for business. But if you get with Dominique, you might want to go with him. You might want to go with him. You might not let him go on his own because he was saying he liked the ladies down there. He said because the ladies down there in Mexico, you know, they trained to be wives. And us women up here in America, we're not trained to be wives. He said down there, they're raised since birth, childbirth, to be wives and to join with a man. But here in America, you know, he included himself in it. He said the men too. So he didn't just say it was the women. He said we are raised to be independent, and then what happens is we try to get married and we don't know how to be, you know, together. I'm not gonna say that some of the stuff he's not saying is correct because I always talk about on my show that you don't want to be independent, you want to be interdependent. You know, independent is overrated. It's really overrated, y'all. Who wants to be out here in life doing everything by themselves? I'm telling you, it's independent. You want to have the capability of standing on your own 2 feet if you need to be, but you don't want to be an independent person. Shoot, everybody need help out here. Everybody need help, including me. And I need your help right now. Hit the like button. That's how I need your help. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment. That's how I need your help because I'm not independent. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not independent and I need a lot of help. So I'm gonna lean on y'all a lot. But yeah, he said he curates his own art shows. He said he owns a couple of Airbnbs. Dominique said he's a catch. He's a good catch. But I see why Vanessa didn't like him, because Vanessa can't be with no man that cusses like this. Dominique he gonna cut himself out of a lot of women. I know Dominique's from the hood. Now he's moving on up. He's George Jefferson. He living in the high rise in downtown Dallas. He living large. He's doing good. He's doing good for himself. But if he wants to elevate in the dating space, and when I say elevate, maybe get him a woman that's going to be of a nice caliber, nice background, something he can write home to mom about. Sound like he's good, close friends with his mom. His mama was watching the YouTube interview while he was on it. And he was cussing at his mama. I tell you, you young people be cussing at your mamas. But anyway, but if he wants to sort of elevate to the likes of Vanessa, he got to cut out some of that cussing. Maybe just go to cursing. Like I said, cussing Dominique is too much. Maybe drop down. Let's take it in bite sizes. Let's go from cussing down to cursing, and then from cursing we can maybe just sprinkle in a little words here and there that add something to your conversation, and then eventually you get a little bit cleaner. Because I couldn't take Dominique home back in the day when I was Dominique's age. If I was single, I couldn't take him home. Dominique would only be for the bedroom. He'd be for the bedroom. Couldn't take him home. You couldn't take him home. Too much cussing. I'll be afraid of what would come out of his mouth. And then my daddy would have a fit. Talking about, why you bring this cussing nigger up in my house? Okay, so anyway, Dominique, that's going to be my first bit of advice from Auntie, is you're going to need to tone that down if you really want a woman like Vanessa. Because he said the two women that he liked was Vanessa and Alexis. And I don't think either one of them women would like all this cussing. But he said Vanessa really was the one he was really, really, really drawn to, because she was his type. She was his type. He liked a lot of things about Vanessa, but we saw that Vanessa really didn't give him much time. And you know what? He dropped a lot of good little tidbits of information in this interview. He was all over the place. It wasn't just an interview about Dominique. I'll say this. The interview was about a lot of different things. Some of the stuff I didn't really care about. Mike Epps. I don't care about that. But he did drop some information about Vanessa, in that, everybody thought Vanessa was, I think the word they used was untouchable, that she was so pristine, like I said, up on this pedestal. And Dominique made it let it be known that, no, she's touchable. She's touchable. Well, we know she's touchable now, Dominique. But we heard it from Dominique that she's absolutely touchable. So this here is not the complete truth. What he made clear was that Vanessa wanted to protect her image because she's got young children or a young son at home, which she knew eventually he might watch the show. And she wanted to make sure she presented herself in a very good light, which I get that. I understand that. She wanted to make sure that she didn't do anything on the show that her son could see that would make him be like, dang, mommy. But Dominique said she is touchable. And we know she's touchable because we know that she and Chaz have done some touching. I'm not going to say they slept together, but they done some touching. So we know she's touchable, for one. And what he also confirmed was that there were a whole lot of relations going on outside of the camera view. See, this is why we know Vanessa got wrapped up in Chaz so much, because we know that off camera, Vanessa and Chaz are doing a lot of talking. He's whispering a lot of sweet nothings, because it is not going to materialize to anything. So it really is sweet nothings. That's why they call it sweet nothings. Sweet nothings. Sweetness with nothing else that's going to come with it. No actions that are going to come with it. It's just sweet nothings. And we know that when Vanessa was hiding from her son, she was also hiding from the rest of the group. When I say hiding, keeping it secret, keeping it, on the down low. But that put her in a dangerous position. So in one way, I get it. She was protecting herself, her image on TV. But another way, it allowed Chaz to operate in secrecy. And I believe that's what he did with Vanessa. It allowed him to tell Vanessa a lot of things in the dark, behind closed doors, in secrecy. And Vanessa then dated him a bubble. I've been saying that Vanessa dated him in a bubble. And even Dominique is saying that he got to know Vanessa outside of the show. Okay, so let's add up all these people who got wrapped up in people outside of the camera view. Because we've all been shocked about, hey, where's this connection coming from? We didn't see anything about this. Now we're hearing all these, off camera, behind the scenes conversation. Because we know that LaRon got turned out by Koshia. Turned out all the way. Turned out. He got turned out by Koshia behind closed doors. He admitted that. He admitted that he and Koshia were tight. Seeing each other every day, going out every day. I'm sure he was spending a whole lot of money on her, just like Maya's lining up. See, Maya's lining up because once she saw the money that LaRon was spending on Koshia, Maya said, I want a little bit of that. But Dominique let us know that, hey, LaRon may be slow in the beginning. And this is just what I thought. It's what I said on my last video. LaRon may be slow in the beginning. He falls for this paying for women because he wants to be in the company of these women. And then eventually he realizes that these women are just after him for a check. And even Dominique said, LaRon's a sweet guy. He's a nice guy. And but eventually he wises up and he gets angry. Like we said, that's what we've seen. He falls for the women. He spends a lot of money on the women. Once he figures out he's getting taken by the women, then the rage and the anger comes. We know. That's what I'm saying. His emotional range for LaRon is all over the place. He's either high on love or he's high on anger. Too much living up here for me. I need you to bring that shit down. Is that cursing or cussing when I say shit? Dominique, you got me over here cussing. But anyway, he told us that, hey, don't think LaRon is too much of a pushover, because once he figures out what you're doing, he comes back strong. Well, we know that. The problem is he falls for it in the beginning. And right now, he's in the love stage with Maya. He's in the love stage. By the time we see the reunion, he probably going to be in the anger stage for all we know. But it sounds like Dominique as well was, getting to know Vanessa behind closed doors. But we all know that Vanessa has hard eyes for Chaz. And Dominique didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance. You don't have a chance, Dominique. Not with all that cussing. Let me tell you, if she don't want to see her son, if she don't want her son to see her dating multiple men on a TV show, she definitely don't want to bring no cussing man around her son. So this really is advice for Dominique. He's a smart man. He's smart, he's intelligent, so I know that there's a way that he can choose some different words and get his points across. Maybe it's a testament to him feeling comfortable in front of Crystal XO and also her co-host Mo. And maybe he thought he was on the corner drinking a 40. Maybe he thought he was on the corner drinking a 40 of Old English. But yeah, he gonna need to elevate that game. He gonna need to elevate that game a whole lot more. One of the things people kept getting on Dominique about the whole time was he don't know how to apply no pressure. And Dominique said, I know how to apply pressure. I apply pressure when I want to apply pressure to a woman I feel is worthy of applying pressure. And for the most part, besides Alexis and Vanessa, he said he didn't really have no interest in applying no pressure for any of these people. I'm going to tell you, through the whole interview, there was one part I think was one of the most profound things that Dominique said in the whole interview when he was talking about Alexis. Because a lot of people, still confused over why people like Alexis. I'm not confused. I did a whole video on Alexis's dating style, at least in the first couple of dates. She makes a good impression the first couple of dates. And Dominique summed it up even better than me. Okay, and I want to coin the phrase of Dominique, what he said about Alexis. And he said, Alexis is, let me find it because I want to make sure I quote him right. He said, the reason why he liked Alexis is because you don't have to build or rebuild her perception of men. So he said the one thing that he liked about Alexis was that you don't have to rebuild her perception on men. And I thought that was really profound because it's really what is really so true. When I talk about coming in with pleasant dispositions, and also are you bringing the baggage of all your old relationships into your new relationships? And what he said was you start off fresh with Alexis. You don't have to make up for all the other men that have done her wrong in the past. And that's refreshing to Dominique. And it's refreshing to a lot of men. And I think that is a challenge for a lot of women. And when you've come out of a bad relationship, how do you learn from that relationship? Because you can't forget those scars. When you've been scarred in a relationship, treated wrong, done wrong, whatever, you can't forget that. But you do have to find a way to minimize its effects so that when you go into the next relationship, it doesn't become such a heavy burden in the next relationship. One of the ways that I say that you minimize it is one is you don't get in those relationships in the first place. That's why I concentrate so much on discernment, because instead of always having to focus on healing yourself from bad relationships, people need to focus sometimes more on not even getting into those relationships at all. Okay, so that way you don't have a lot of healing to do. Now, can you always protect yourself? No. Sometimes, things happen. Sometimes it's not what you wanted to happen, but it did happen. But when I look at a lot of people and I look at some of the bad relationships people have been in, I don't know what the percent is. Is it 50-50? Some of the relationships could have been avoided. Let's be real. Some of the relationships could have been avoided. And those are the ones I want people to have better discernment over. Avoid them. Don't get in them. Run away from them. That's why I always be telling women, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? People think I'm hard on women, but I'm trying to tell women, don't go down roads that you know you shouldn't be going down, because in the end, all you're going to have to do is heal from it. You're going to have to heal from it. And then you're going to have to not be what Dominique's talking about. You're going to have to be a woman, not bringing in all that baggage into a new relationship. So one of the ways that you prevent having so much to heal from is you minimize who you get in relationships with. Okay, it's very important, ladies. I know what a lot of people start doing. They start building up walls. Let me build me a fortress around me. Let me build my walls so thick and so tall that none of these bad people can get in. Okay, and I say no to that. No, because that's the opposite of what Dominique is talking about. Walls, although you think you're building walls to protect yourself, you've also built walls to keep the good people out. You hear what I'm saying? Walls do both. Walls protect you, but walls also keep good people out. So in the long run, walls actually aren't good, because although they may keep people away from you, they also keep you away from good people. What you really want is you want doors. Doors that can open. Doors that have peepholes. Doors that you can crack with the chain on it first, right? You don't want walls, ladies. You don't want walls. You want doors. Okay, yeah, you can shut the door. Sometimes you can crack the door. Sometimes you can look through the peephole of the door. But you can also open the door. And sometimes you can open the door wider. And sometimes you can open the door less. Sometimes you can look out the window and go, no, thank you, I'm not interested. But you can look and you can see. You can look and you can see. You go, no, thank you, I'm not interested. Walls you can't see. Walls not only keep people out from your life, it keeps you can't see outside of yourself. That's what I'm always talking about on these shows. People don't see themselves. You know why? Because they got a wall in front of them. They got a wall. They don't have no glass. They're not looking out. They're not looking outward from them or inward. No, they got a wall. They're living in a bubble. They're living in all this kind of bubbles. Bubbles don't help you. I told y'all Vanessa living in a bubble over there, dating Chaz in a bubble. And really what she needed to do was, instead of building walls around her to protect her image, she should have had some doors so she could peep out the peephole and look at what Chaz was doing. I said in my last video, she back there looking to see what Chaz is doing back in coach. You can't do that when you got walls. You can't do that when you got walls. You need to have doors. Doors that you can look through the peephole, doors that you can crack with the chain on, doors that you can swing wide open, doors that you can shut when you need to. Okay? That's the life you need to build when you're dating. One thing I'll say about Vanessa, I know got a lot of Vanessa fans out here. Let me make this clear. It is not that I dislike Vanessa. I think Vanessa carries herself well. I think that she has carried herself in a dignified manner on this show. Of course, I've always said I think she's beautiful. But some people have mentioned they believe that Vanessa is introverted. I could go along with that. But introverted does not mean that once you're in front of a person, words that are affirming and nice to people should come out of them. That's two different things. Okay? Being introverted, but then when you do speak, the words that you speak are not nice words. That's two different things. And what I said about Vanessa is she doesn't have good customer service. And I'm going to stick with it. Actually, I don't think Vanessa is actually even prepared for dating. I really don't. My biggest inclination about Vanessa, because Dominique was also talking about, is I don't think Vanessa is ready for dating here in 2024. I think Vanessa has spent probably a good portion of her life in relationships and in marriage. And I think in her last divorce, Vanessa miscalculated the dating world. Okay? Hear me again. And you see this a lot with women who get divorced, women who've been married for a certain amount of time. Their marriage is falling apart or their marriage needs a lot of repair or work. And their decision that they make is that, this marriage is irreparable. I don't want to do any more work on this marriage. It's too much work. It's whatever. And what they decide to do is say, I'm just going to get divorced. I'm going to go back out to the dating world. Sometimes what happens is when you come back to the dating world, it has changed so significantly that you're unprepared for it. And I think that's what's happened to Vanessa. When I see Vanessa's dating style and I see her trying to date Chaz, because in Dominique's interview, what he mentioned about Chaz is Chaz tells the ladies everything that they need to hear. Like I said, Dominique was talking about a lot of people. So some of you might be wondering, why am I talking about Vanessa and Chaz so much in my recap on Dominique? Because it's what Dominique was doing. Dominique talked a lot about a lot of other people, and he talked a lot about Chaz and how Chaz is a more mature man. Like I said, cat daddy on the way to be sugar daddy. He didn't use that word, but I'm going to tell you that's what it is. And what he's talking about is Chaz knows the things to say to ladies because he's been doing it a long time. Chaz is 47. Like Dominique said, Chaz got throw pillows on his couches. These men in the 30s, they don't have no throw pillows. Chaz got throw blankets on the couch. So when Vanessa comes over and puts her feet up on the couch, there's a little throw blanket right there waiting on her. You hear what I'm saying? So I think Vanessa, the reason why I say Vanessa was so cozy with Chaz is because it was familiar to her as a wife. It was familiar to her as a long-term girlfriend, whatever spaces she's been in. Because when I told you the way I see Vanessa move, she moves like a wife. She moves like a long-term girlfriend. But here's the problem. She's not neither one of those, and she's re-entered the dating world. She's entered the dating world with the mentality that she is a wife and she is a girlfriend. Now, I know what people say, well, you have to act the way you want to be. But I think the part that's throwing Vanessa off is she doesn't realize the man that she's dating. You see, Vanessa can be who she wants to be, but she didn't realize she was acting like a wife and a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend, with a man like Chaz, who's been running the streets for 47 years. Okay? The streets. And I'm talking about Martin Luther King Boulevard kind of streets. Martin Luther King Boulevard kind of streets. Chaz got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and Vanessa don't know none of the tricks. There is a naiveness to her because she hasn't been in this dating world for a long time. She don't know it. She don't know the streets. So she's coming out to the streets and she's trying to date Chaz. Chaz been running the streets for a long time. It's almost like a dog that never had no home. Okay, Vanessa is a dog that grew up in a nice home with a family, but unfortunately something happened. She got out. She ran away. So yeah, she's on the street and she's a lost dog. Somebody may need to come over and, what they call rescue her. but she really from a nice stable home. She house trained, she all those kind of things. But Chaz, he been living on the street for 47 years. He might have had a home here or there. Here or there, he might have had a home. But for the most part, he knows the streets of Martin Luther King Boulevard. And Vanessa ain't ready for dating in 2024 because you can see she struggles with going up against these other women on the show who actually have been in this dating world for a long. Mika been out here in this dating world a long time. Mika been out here. There's a lot of these women that have been out here. Patrice been out here for a while. Okay? There's a lot of women that been out here for a while, so they've developed some techniques, some skills, koshia, some different habits, right? That Vanessa has not developed. So when Vanessa is dating in a bubble behind her wall of protection, she's doing more than so-called protecting herself. She's not getting a real clear view of what's on the other side of that wall, what's really going out there in them streets. What am I really about to get involved with? I'm going to say it right here now. Vanessa should have stayed married. Vanessa should have stayed married. I don't know what the problems were in her relationship with her husband, but she should have continued on counseling. She should have worked through it. I don't know what it was. But she should have stayed with him. And I don't mean even if it was that white man who she said she wanted more Black Power, Black Panther stuff. She could have taught him the electric slide. She could have taken him down on Martin Luther King Boulevard and done the King Parade. She could have taken him to a soul food restaurant. She could have done a lot of things to infuse. She could have, I don't know what else she could have done. She could have done a lot of things. But I don't think Vanessa's prepared for this dating world or these streets. And then you got Dominique from the hood to the high rise. And he decided this is the kind of woman I want, because this kind of woman I didn't have access to when I was growing up in the hood. I didn't have access to Vanessa. Vanessa's a suburb girl. She's a suburb girl. I'm from the hood. He said he went to a high school like Lean On Me. Remember Lean On Me? What was the principal's name? Joe or something? What was the man who used to carry the bat? That's where he came from the streets. He said, I didn't have access to women like Vanessa growing up. I had to live on the other side of the tracks. Does Nashville got tracks? Train tracks? So now he got access to Vanessa. But like I said, Dominique, you ain't gonna get no access to Vanessa cussing like that. You really not. So you better tone that stuff down. If you want access to the ladies like Vanessa, you're going to need to tone down all that cussing. I said it once, I said it twice, and I just said it again. But Dominique was transparent. He was honest. He was real. He was raw. I did enjoy that about him. He said he was part of TextGate. He said everybody was. He said everybody was part of TextGate, including LaRon. Everybody knew LaRon. Everybody knew LaRon, that little jiu-jitsu maneuver he did on William last week was all so he could snag Maya. And then eventually he gonna get got. Remember I always tell you about getting got? You think you about to get a person, but then you gonna get got? That's about what's about to happen to LaRon. LaRon thinks he got Maya, but in the end, Maya gonna get LaRon. At least for a good month or so over some good food. She gonna at least get some good food, some good dates, some good alcohol, a top shelf from LaRon. By the time LaRon figures it out, he gonna at least spend at least $3,000 on her. At least. LaRon told us that he can pay all his bill with one paycheck. He got a lot of disposable income. He only living off 50% of his paycheck, which means he got a whole another 50% he can spend on women like Maya. And Maya heard it. Not only did Maya hear it, she saw it with Koshia, because LaRon was going out to dinner with Koshia every single night. Who you think was paying? LaRon. LaRon was paying, and Koshia was eating good. And after Koshia and LaRon had the big fallout, Maya said, let me slide up on in here because William is on LOA, leave of absence. But Dominique said, I was involved in TextGate. Everybody was. He said we was all talking about our dates, who we liked, who we didn't like. The women were doing it and the men were doing it. And that's what I know, and it's continuing. And that's why I keep telling everybody out here, Patrice don't like Chaz. I know everybody keeps thinking, why does Patrice like? Patrice does not like Chaz. These ladies are setting up Chaz. These ladies are street smart. They know what's going on out here in these streets. They are not naive to Chaz. The only one naive to Chaz is Vanessa. Patrice is street smart. Mika is street smart. Okay, they're not all up under Chaz because they know who Chaz is. They playing Chaz. They are playing Chaz. And Patrice has joined in on the party because she's like, I don't want to get left out on playing Chaz, because they already know who Chaz is. They already know that Chaz has been sitting in everybody group text, hey, beautiful. The only person that didn't know was Vanessa. Because like I said, Vanessa lives behind a wall, her wall of protection, her wall of being demure, of being of a certain person, of being on a pedestal, of being untouchable. And like I said, that's good. Put yourself up there. And then what happens is you don't really know what's going on down here, but then you want to leave the marriage and come down here and join this world, but you never checked out the world before you joined it. The only one that's getting bamboozled by Chaz is Vanessa. Mika is not bamboozled by Chaz. Patrice ain't bamboozled by Chaz. And I really don't even think Rashina is bamboozled by Chaz, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. But Dominique said, no, nobody didn't need to convince me to vote Kushia off. I wasn't part of no conspiracy. He said he voted Kushia off because, Kushia is one of them type of women that wants you to pay her car note. He called it like I said, like I told you, Koshia's marriage when she married that man, okay, and said that she found out he had 4 kids. The reason why she rushed into marriage with him because she thought she was going to get all her bills paid. Thank you, Dominique, for saying what I've been saying about Kushia. I know who Kushia is. He said she the type of woman that try to get a Negro to pay her car notes and everything else, and that's what she was doing with LaRon. She saw a mark, and she figured she was going to extract from him. And that's how LaRon got caught up with Kushia. And Dominique said that he wasn't going to be messing with Mika because Mika didn't want to have no kids. And not only did Mika not want to have no kids, he done spilled some of her personal business saying that she done had her tubes tied. So, hey, there you go. It ain't even a matter of does she want them. It's it. Shop is closed. Mika's like, it's done. It's a wrap. It ain't gonna happen. But what type of woman is Dominique looking for? Well, he did say he's learned a few things. Thank goodness, because when he left, he said he ain't changing nothing. I was like, oh, that's so ignorant. I don't like nobody say they don't learn nothing. That's a turn off when people start walking around talking about, I'm not changing nothing. You just experienced coming in darn near last place. And you say you ain't changing nothing. Nothing? You ain't learned nothing? So I'm glad to hear that he went home in his high-rise apartment and contemplated his journey in Ready Love and realized, you know what? Maybe I did learn something. He came back with a few things. He said he learned one, that he might consider going out with women with kids because before he didn't think women with kids had anything to offer him. He didn't think that he would find anything interesting with women with kids, but he's learned differently by meeting these women on the show who've had children. He said he had interest in them. He had things in common with them. And so now he's opened up his eyes to dating women with children. He also said that he's now interested in dating slim women. Maybe before, I think he said he never really dated slim women. I guess he liked them thick, so maybe his attraction to Alexis opened his eyes and said, hey, you know what? I can like a thin woman, especially when she may come with the disposition of Alexis. And let me say, he confirmed another thing I said about Alexis. He confirmed that he didn't really care if Alexis was on the men's side or Alexis was trying to look out for men. I told ladies that in the end, sure, a man doesn't want you not to ever get along and not have any female friends, but men don't need you to be a complete girl's girl. They could care less about that. Okay? Because that doesn't mean you're not going to be a good mother. That doesn't mean that you're not going to love your children. That doesn't mean you're not going to love your daughters. No. It just means that women don't have to pander to all women. Some women pander to too many women, to be honest with you. Too many women. People often accuse me on this show of being a man lover and a woman hater. I'm not no woman hater, but I don't pander to every woman. I sure do not. And I don't pander to every man. I don't. I sure don't. And that's what he said he liked about Alexis, that Alexis didn't fall into the trap of no matter what women say and what women do, she gonna co-sign on it. No. Just like I wouldn't want no man to co-sign on everything a man does. I wouldn't want that in a man, so I don't expect anybody to expect that from me, because I wouldn't want a man that co-signed and was always on a man's side, even though that man was wrong. And I won't be that person either. Sorry, people. If anybody's looking for me to be that person, it won't be me. It will not be me. But he said all the women were talking bad about the men. All that text gate, thinking it's just the men. That's why LaRon was such a hypocrite, because LaRon pulled out that card to get William kicked off the show, but he used that at the opportune time so he could snag Maya away. That's what he used it for. You know, LaRon says he's from the street. He says he grew up on the rough side of Jersey, so he's seen a couple of techniques. So maybe he used one of his streetwise techniques to take William out on this last episode. But he, in the end, he gonna get got. He gonna get got by Maya. He gonna have to wise up. We'll see how long it takes. Let's see how much money Maya drains out that bank account. Like I said before, a smash and grab. Smash and grab what Maya's gonna do, because Maya ain't there for the long term. She's not there to shop around and walk around the store. She's there with a hoodie on to do some smashing and grabbing. So if you want to be with Dominique, ladies, I think you're going to have to be, you might have to be able to endure some cussing, not cursing, but cussing. He likes to go to Mexico or international travel twice a month. So you either got to be willing to go with him, or he might be like Curtis on Married to Medicine and be a passport bro with a whole nother woman and a whole nother family down there. He said he's not a cheater, though. He did say he's not a cheater. He said he does not cheat in relationships. What he does is if he wants to be with another woman, he just breaks up with you. So if he's in Mexico or wherever else twice a month, I guess you're going to get broken up with twice a month. You're going to get broken up with twice a month, because he ain't going to cheat on you, but he's going to break up with you, do his thing, then come back and get back with you. He said he don't mind if you make more money than him. He don't mind that. He said he has dated women who've made more than him. But he says all you women out here who want men to make $300,000, you got to figure out, do you want, fancy trips to Dubai, or do you want a Negro at home with you? Women was like, we want both. Well, he did get something wrong. He was talking about Dubai. He was talking about Dubai is dirty or nasty, and they be peeing in Dubai or something. I don't know. That's wrong. That ain't true. Dominique, Dubai is really, really clean. I've been to Dubai, and you'd be hard pressed to even find a gum wrapper on the street. Dubai is clean as a whistle. That's one of the things that's most impressive about Dubai. In fact, I think Dominique actually probably would like Dubai. Dominique, you need to put that on your travel itinerary plans. Go beyond Mexico. Go beyond Playa del Carmen and Mexico City. You in Dallas, Texas, Mexico City, Playa del Carmen, shoot, what's that? That ain't even really a trip. Go stretch your boundaries. Go a little bit further. Now that you moving on up and you George Jefferson, take your stuff on the road, Get a passport that takes you even further than Mexico. But that's it. That's all I got about Dominique. I'll come back, like I said, and do an recap on the Will interview. I don't even know what it's like. Did y'all like it? Did y'all like the Will interview? Let me know down below. Should I watch it or should I not watch it? But anyway, that's it, y'all. We're going to head on out of here, and we're going to go out of here with Dominique's theme song. Let's do this thing, y'all.